The medical community frequently pressures parents who receive prenatal diagnosis to abort. There's research to show that a significant number of physicians, genetic counselors, whoever, will self-report that they will emphasize the negative aspects of a diagnosis in order to indirectly pressure parents to abort, or they will just overtly tell them you should abort. To put some depth to this data, I'm going to read you quotes from this qualitative study of mothers who got a prenatal diagnosis of Down syndrome and did not abort, and what their experiences were like. One mom reports, the OB said, "You have to move quickly. There is a doctor at blah blah hospital who does late term abortions." And the mom replied, "No, I told you I'm not going to have an abortion." And the OB said, "Well, talk to your husband. You might want to think about it." Other moms reported medical teams saying things like, "This child will not accomplish anything. Everyone in my practice has aborted." One mother reported that her OB said, "I'm giving you 5 days to decide which day you will terminate. Call me and I'll book it." And this is without them having any conversation about whether she wanted to get an abortion. Another reported that her geneticist's office said that it was too late for an abortion in her own state, but, quote, "I can get you on a plane to another state if you leave by 4 p.m. today." Again, this was as she's getting the diagnosis, without her giving any indication that she wanted to get an abortion, much less a later abortion. The most frequently reported negative experience was meeting a clinician who assumed that the mother would terminate the pregnancy if she could. When the mothers expressed dissent or ambivalence, it often was met with resistance, disbelief, or lack of support. One mother reported that her OB turned on his speakerphone to consult with another physician who, upon hearing that the family had decided to continue the pregnancy, said, "What are they, Mormons or something?" Another mother reported that her genetic counselor, a person whose literal job it is to counsel families on what these test results mean and what they can do about it, said to her, "What are you going to say to people when they ask you how you could bring a child like this into the world?" Mothers reported that they felt more positive when they were able to talk about realistic expectations for their babies with physicians and other clinicians who were well informed about Down syndrome. No big shock there. Other things that mothers reported as helpful included the Down syndrome program at Children's Hospital, giving them up-to-date books and pamphlets. They reported that the information was valuable in their preparation for parenting their child with Down syndrome. Another thing they said was very helpful was meetings or phone conversations with parents who had children with Down syndrome, which they described as a great source of support and information. Offering these resources should be standard when clinicians give prenatal Down syndrome diagnosis. Unfortunately, they often are not. This is a qualitative study. It's from 1998, but it echoes themes that we've seen recurrently all the way up until today. To mitigate some of these biases, there was an interdisciplinary committee, which included people with disabilities on the committee, that came up with 20 recommendations for decreasing some of these problems when clinicians give prenatal diagnoses. Check out this paper, which gives a bunch of ideas, regardless of your feelings about abortion generally, on how we can minimize the ableism and pressure that the medical community puts on parents who get prenatal diagnoses.